Okay, on today's episode of Meet the Lemons, I forgot to skim this wall this weekend with all the chaos, so I need to pull out one nail that's sticking out. I'm going to try to just chisel this little lip here a bit, and then I'll give it a quick sanding, put some orange tape down, spackle, call it good, because the IWI starts tomorrow, and even though they probably won't get to this room till next week, I just want to be prepared and have it nice and dry. Just gonna see what I can do here. It's not gonna be perfect. It's fine. I can always solve it later. It's mostly I just want them to have a nice clean edge that they can do their work on. So let's get to work. Is there an easier way to do this? I just don't know if I can do it without the hammer. That would be nice if I could do it without the hammer and all the noise. I mean, sort of, yes, but in the timelines allowed, maybe not. All right, hammer it is. Picture more of the same. Okay, I've tried it with the chisel. It does work, but it's very, very noisy. So I'm just gonna see what happens if I try to sand it. Trying to see which of these is less annoying to the neighbors, really. The answer is everything is equally annoying, Tania. It's just so slow is the problem. I don't have time for slow. I got other shit to do. Back to chiseling for a minute. All right, it's still a very rough edge, but it's 7:15, and Andy is making dinner, which I don't still eat while I'm young, but it's also just pretty antisocial to keep going at this hour. So that is just gonna have to be good enough. I'd really like to get this nail out of the wall, though. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. So rough. Come on. Yeah, the next time I tell builders, oh no, it's fine, I can just finish that up myself. Remind me I'm an idiot. Wouldn't it be nice if any one of my 3 hammers was the right size to get this nail out? But apparently that's too much to ask. Only the little one will get in there. And the little one doesn't have the leverage. Ah, take that, bitches. Okay. Let us just sweep up here. and we're just going to put a very fine skim on this. All we're doing is just trying to make a smoothish line on this wall so the insulation will adhere to it. And that's all there is to that. Just try not to overwork it because I don't want a bunch of bubbles. Also try not to rush too much just because my dinner smells lovely. All right, I think one more blob should be enough to do the bottom. And it probably better be because I think this might be my last bucket of skim in the house. Because I've just done too much skimming. So this side, obviously, I didn't chisel nearly as much. So there's quite a large gap in there. But yeah, I'm just gonna have to deal with it because I just can't make that much noise anymore tonight. All right, let's see if I can get one more blob out of here. All right, as mentioned, I'm not gonna keep fucking with it too much. Trying to have some Blue October in my head just now. I am not perfect, nor do I strive to be. I do believe that's as good as we're getting it right now. Yeah, ace. Beautiful morning. I thought I'll just do some laundry real quick before the builders arrive. Nothing happens. So once again, I have to pull the washing machine out, which if you watched yesterday's video, you'll see just how stupid that entire process is. Honestly, I just don't know if I should like cry, rage, laugh. It's just too much. So I'm not really going to film this bit. I'm just letting you know the joys of doing shit yourself. It's not great. At some point I pulled the cord out too far. So it's probably disconnected all the wires inside. Awesome.
And that's how you get to pay £150 idiot tax to have somebody come fix your stupid mistake.
So you just can't make it up. Yeah, insulation guys showed up 3 hours late. Only one of them was actually here. And then he's like, SWIP have delivered all the materials, right? I'm like, no, we have nothing. Yeah, that's how my day's going. Broke my washing machine. I got a leaky tap. And then we've cleared all the room for nothing. It's going really well for me this week. Well, hush my mouth. They've shown up, they've got the supplies, and there's 5 of them. They've also said this is going to take 2 days, not 2 weeks. We'll see.
So there were some advantages to having so many people in at once and getting the work done in 3 days, not 2. The disadvantage is that for 3 nights in a row, they were at our house till about 9 o'clock, drilling, screwing things in with the impact driver, hammering. So I had a lot of angry texts, absolutely justifiable. from the next door neighbor. So while, I'm sure it'll be fine in the long run, it was really difficult. But the biggest challenge was we had sort of mapped out 2 weeks where they would finish one room and then we would move stuff into that room when it was done and on and on. Instead, we ended up just having a house full of people in every room all at once. So I've only filmed the living room because it would have just been too much chaos to try to be in every space at the same time. But generally, you can see what was happening. They put up the battens from the SWIP system. So that's essentially a PIR insulation that's got some chipboard on it that's just easier to actually drill into, hammer into, etc. They then put the rock wool in between that. Then they put up the vapor barrier. In this case, just in the living room, we also then had them put the soundproofing on for us. So it kind of went the insulation system, plasterboard, soundproofing, more plasterboard, and then the plaster itself. So again, there were some advantages. The soundproofing on this wall, time will tell because they didn't build a stud wall frame like we had on the party wall. There's a lot of holes drilled into it. So some of that sound may still come through. But if nothing else, it adds a really deep, dense insulation. And if we get any sound benefits, just, keeping things from traveling along the bay window side, bonus, I guess. One thing that we weren't expecting was SWIP recommended an impermeable vapor barrier, just because of the climate where we're at. So that's what the green film is. Also, because we already have quite a narrow stairway, instead of the 95 mil insulation all the way up the stairway, they've done, I believe, a 45 for the narrowest bit. So, once we got the plasterboard and the plaster on that, we have lost a bit of space. So we'll just have to work out in the future the best way to make the stairs a bit wider.
It almost looks like a bedroom.
Yeah.
Like people could live here.
So all the corners are going to get beading,
Yep.
right? Even that corner right there. Going to get beading around it for the skin.
Mm-hmm. I like how clever they are, like actually marking out where the battens are.
Yeah.
What
You
are
have
these,
to.
like professionals or something?
Otherwise, you're going to be screwing into
Oh, yeah.
nothing.
No, it's brilliant.
So I had to be in the office on Thursday, and Andy had quite a busy day of work and was just trying to stay out of their way. And we don't have any heating in the dining room where he was working. So it was sort of a perfect storm of not getting much video other than what Zane sent me, which was primarily about this ongoing issue with some of the electrics. We, in the end, decided just to leave the spur on it rather than to have to rewire everything and put in a ring. And hopefully, I won't regret my life choices later. And then while we were at dinner, he was sending me videos of them doing the soundproofing. And I had to say, please, please stop stapling into the hush tape because that's what keeps the noise out. So, yeah, slightly limited day. So I'll have to do another walkthrough on a day when we've actually got some light out to show you the real finished product now that the plaster has had a few days to dry. But overall, very happy with the work. We don't love the UPVC windowsills that they've put in, but this work was funded through a grant. I'm not complaining. At some point when we're ready, we'll put in some nice wooden windowsills that are a bit more made to measure because these are fine. They're just a little bit rough and ready. Um, Overall, though, really pleased with it. Obviously, because the plaster has been drying, we haven't been able to turn the heat on. So I don't really know how much it's helping just yet. Again, time will tell. I don't imagine it will hurt though, so that's quite good. So, really the end for them was just doing the plastering. They did remind themselves a little bit too late that they actually had to put the sockets back into the wall. So I think the final video here is them very late in the evening having to do the wiring after dark, which is not always super fun. But everything works. It's all fine and will be dandy. So I'm gonna leave it there. And this weekend, Andy is away again during the day, but the plaster should be dry enough by then that I can do the mist coat, let that dry for a couple of days, and then we can, start doing the real painting in earnest. So, there's still a lot to do decorating wise, but this is the last of the works for a good long while that requires builders in the house. So we finally feel like we've got a bit of our own space back, which is something that we've been waiting for what, 270 something days now. Yeah, but it also gives me a chance to recover from the really awesome cold that I got just in time for us to go away for Andy's 40th birthday. So fun was still had, but I definitely spent a day in bed. So I have to be careful not to push myself so far that I relapse because I'm actually feeling relatively better when I'm not coughing. So we will catch you in a few days with some updates.
Happy birthday to you. Woohoo!